Good day, everyone. My name is Carl Raman M. Maranan, an Assistant Guidance Counselor at the Guidance Counseling and Health Office College Department, and at the same time, an Instructor 3 at the Psychology Department of the College of Arts and Sciences. So for today, we will discuss the topic spiritual self. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to define what is spiritual self, to identify the different concepts of spiritual self, to understand the self in relation with religion, and then last, explain ways of finding meaning of life. So the spiritual self is the most intimate, inner subjective part of the self. It is the most intimate version of the self because of the satisfaction experienced when thinking of one's ability to argue and discriminate of one's moral sensibility and conscience. Moreover, seeking the meaning of life is a journey that the spiritual self is on. So let's define what is spiritual self. So when we say spiritual self, it is you in your most beautiful and powerful form. It is your authentic self, the unconditioned part, and the you without patterns. So unlike the physical self, which is na-discuss natin in our previous chapter, na ang focus ng physical self is most on the outer or the outside beauty. Pero pagdating natin dito sa spiritual self, it's you in your most beautiful form or powerful and beautiful form, meaning it is about your inner beauty. It means taking an inventory of your personal life and determining what's wrong and what's right about oneself. And then having a beautiful spirit surpasses the physical beauty because of your soul won't require acceptance from the society but assurance from God that you are His unique creation, therefore you are beautiful. So by following different values, different virtues like joy, love, grace, gentleness, or unselfishness, that's part of our inner beauty. And then we believe that God is the source of our beauty. Spiritual self, also defined as our connection with the universal source and the oneness of all life. For others, it is about their non religious experiences that help them get in touch with their spiritual self. So, paano tayo nakaka-connect with the universal source or with our spiritual self? It is through our quiet reflection, time in nature, private prayer, yoga, or meditation. And then last, you discover your meaning and purpose during your lifetime. So finding a spiritual purpose is not so much about finding the meaning of life, but rather about becoming your best self as you move through your life. It is all right to think about your purpose, kung ano ba talaga yung iyong papel, okay, dito sa mundong ito, especially when it comes to your spirituality and faith. So if you like, you have a purpose, you feel more fulfilled and happier. Kung nalalaman mo or nadidiscover mo na ito yung purpose mo sa buhay, ito yung iyong meaning, ito yung meaning ng buhay mo, mas nakikilala mo ang sarili mo. So that's we call spiritual self. So before we proceed to religion, let's differentiate first what is spirituality and what is religion. So when we say spirituality, the questions are, where do I personally find meaning, my connection, and my value? On the other hand, when we say religion, the questions are what is true and right. So spirituality, this is more on the individual practice and has to do with having a sense of peace and purpose. It also relates of developing beliefs around the meaning of life and connection with others without any set of spiritual values. On the other hand, when we see religion, this is a specific set of organized beliefs and practice usually shared by common or group. So kung makikita natin dun sa gitna ng circle, it overlaps with the individual experience which affects what you think. Okay? So yun yung belief na tinatawag. What you feel or the comfort and the reflection and behave, which is the ethics and the awe. So that's the difference between spirituality and religion. So Aben, when we say spirituality, this is more about the meaning, your connection, your value in life. And then when we say religion, this is what is true and what is right. So religion, so when we say religion, this is your belief in your supernatural being and the institution and practices associated with beliefs. And according to research, and according to some estimates, there are roughly 4,200 religions in the world. Ganon kadami ang religion sa mundong ito. Kung titingnan natin, religion comes from the Latin word religare, means to bind together. And kung pasisimplihin pa natin, religion is bond between God and man. Okay? It is the organized collection of beliefs, cultural system, and worldviews that relate humanity to an order of existence. Iba't ibang religion, they have different narratives, they have different symbols, and sacred histories that are intended to explain the meaning of life and to explain the origin of life and the universe. So that's we call religion. We have 4,200 religions in the world. And these 4,200 religions, they have a different rituals, they have different sermons, commemorations, celebrations, sacrifices, prayer, and other aspect of human culture. According to Frando and Isip, they enumerated the different functions of religion. So number one functions of religion is stability and cohesion. Since we already defined spiritual self and know the different meanings of religion, so it is time to know the function of religion. And the number one function is stability and cohesion. Meaning, shared religion binds people together. Shared religions experiences provide the societal or the other society a cement of group unity and ritual. Best example of this stability and cohesion is through Sabbath, which is the day set aside for rest and worship. So for Catholic, it is a commemoration, especially the Catholic Mass or the Eucharistic Mass, which is celebrated every Sunday, which is all Catholics are required to go to a Eucharistic Mass every Sunday. Examples for the Islam, they hold a communal prayer known as Jumu'ah every Friday just after noon. So kung makikita natin, itong number one functions ng religion, it unites the community. It unites the member of the religious organization. And it unites every member of the society. And that's the number one function of religion. Followed by social identity. Shared religion gives people an identity and social membership. So this is achieved through social naming ceremonies. Ano ba itong mga ceremonies na ito? Best example is the baptism or water baptism or the act of faith and obedience to the commands of Christ. So in Catholic, we have water baptism or the infant baptism, which symbolizes, okay, or welcoming, which symbolizes welcoming of the child in Christianity. We also have uh, adult Baptism, especially in Iglesia ni Cristo, they don't believe or they reject infant baptism, but they focus on adult baptism. On the other hand, Seventh-day Adventists, okay, they also have a form of baptism which is more on new birth of Christ, which symbolizes the death to sin and then the new birth of Christ, which is the method of full immersion, and infant baptism is not a practice. So through baptism, okay, so nakikilala tayo kung saan tayo kabilang na religious affiliation. And best example of that is the water baptism. Number three is the collective conscience. Religion unites people in moral ways. So the group affirms it believes in the central values through its commitment to the religious system. These sentiments produce values consensus. Best example of this collective conscience is the teaching of our founders. The teaching of the founders kung saan tayo kabilang na religion. For Buddhism, so a way of living based on the teaching of Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, which is the founder of Buddhism, na kung saan yung kanilang pamumuhay ay nakasentro sa mga aral or sa turo ni Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. Example ng turo ni Buddha is refrain from harming living beings. So wag daw natin sasaktan or hindi nila sinasaktan ang mga bagay na may buhay dito sa mundo. Taking what is not given, sexual misconduct, harmful speech, or drinking or taking drugs that close our mind. That's according sa teaching ni Buddha. So in Christianity, nakasenter ang teaching sa life, death, and resurrection ni Jesus Christ. And then, sa Islam, nakapaloob ang turo ng Islam, okay? Or ang kanilang practice dun sa tinatawag na 5 pillars of Islam, which is the declaration of faith, ritual prayer, welfare, pagbibigay ng tulong sa mga kanilang kapwa, the month of fasting during Ramadan, and pilgrimage. That's under collective conscience. We also have socialization and social control. Religion contributes to the moral and wider of the society. So many cultural norms are given sacred legitimacy by religious beliefs, and it represents the value system of the society. Best example of these functions is the Holy Scriptures or the holy book of the different religion, which compose or includes the sacred writings of their religion. So example in Christianity, the Ten Commandments, also known as the Decalogue, are the set of the biblical principles relating to the ethics and worship of Christians or of the Catholic. Okay? So yung Ten Commandments na nasa Holy Book or Holy Scriptures na mga Katoliko, so doon nakapaloob yung principles relating to ethics and worships ng mga Katoliko. In Islam, they have the Holy Quran, which is the Word of Allah, na kung saan nandoon yung mga directives for its followers. And for Judaism, we have Torah, which is the most important text, consists of the first 5 books of the Tanakh, na kung saan nabanggit din dito yung Ten Commandments. So dito sa tinatawag nating socialization and social control, it represents the value systems of the society. Okay? And then last, we have meaning and purpose. Religion gives meaning and purpose to people's lives. Religious beliefs offer people comfort in the time of crisis. Best example is in this time of COVID-19 pandemic. So different religious sectors have different religious beliefs in order to offer people comfort, guidance, and protection. So in Catholic, especially here in the Philippines and other Catholic country, they reciting or praying the Oratio Imperata, which is an obligatory prayer against the COVID-19. They reciting the Holy Rosary, conducting or watching and listening to online masses. In Islam, especially in Indonesia, they are reciting an obligatory prayer every Friday. In Islam, in Middle East country, instead of Haya ala Sala, which is come to prayer, they are told to do a prayer in their home. And they're in Buddhism, especially in Sri Lanka, they are conducting a week-long Buddhist prayers. So, religious beliefs over people comfort in this time of crisis na kung saan nakikita natin kung ano yung meaning and purpose of our life. So, these are the functions of religion according to Frando and Isip. So, after we discuss the functions of religion, let's proceed to the different techniques of religion. So this topic contains various practice of different religion that pertains to the general acts, followed by all members who are not part of the clergy in accordance with the religious requirements. So examples of techniques are the following. So we have prayer. Prayer is not only a request of God, but a conversation with our Creator. So prayer, it is the communication to our supernatural being through speech, thoughts, or simply it is our conversation with the Almighty. And according to research, may benefits ang pagdadasal, regardless of our religion. Number one benefit is the better sense of self. Mas nakikilala mo ang sarili mo. Okay? Since now open mo kung ano yung gusto mong sabihin, kahit hindi mo siya verbal na sabihin, through praying, okay, through prayer, mas nakikilala mo yung sarili mo. It is good for your heart, increase lifespan, and it improves your attitude. Hindi man nating directly sinasabi kung ano yung problema natin, kung ano yung ating concern, pero through praying, it improves our attitude. It also gain forgiveness kasi kung ikaw yung tipo ng tao na nagdadasal ka with your Creator, okay, ang dali mong magpatawad sa ibang tao. Kahit gaano kalaki or kaliit kung ano yung kanilang nagawa sa iyo, personally, it gain forgiveness. Okay? It will also give hope, especially during this time. Okay? Na kung saan we are in the state of public health emergency. Through prayer, mas lumalakas yung faith natin na itong mga challenges na ito, itong mga concern na ito ay mapapagdaanan natin or malalampasan natin. It relieves stress, na kung saan na kahit gaano kadami ang problema mo, ay through praying, hindi naman siya totally agad mawawala. Unti-unting nababawasan, okay, yung pakiramdam mo, yung stress, yung pagod sa sarili mo. It also have an impact on your mindset and recovery and maintain positive outlook in life. So, through praying, it is our conversation with our Almighty. Hindi lang tayo hingi ng hingi, okay? Or Lord, pahingi nito. God, pahingi nito. Lord, sana pumasa ako sa ganitong exam. No. It's about asking for forgiveness sa mga nagawa natin pagkukulang sa Kanya. Okay? Paghingi ng tawad sa mga tao. Okay? At the same time, pasasalamat sa mga blessings na tinatanggap natin every day. That's the number one technique of religion, which is common. Okay? Which is common sa ibang religious sector. And then we have divination, which is the art of obtaining secret or illegitimate knowledge of the future by occult methods and unsanctioned by God. So some religion, they believe in astrology, na kung saan naniniwala sila sa pattern ng moon, ng stars, and ng sun. And then they can predict the future. Okay? So they have tarot cards, angel cards, they have pendulum and hexagram as part of their religious practices. That's we call divination. We also have ceremony. So when we say ceremony, number of interconnected rituals done at a specific time and place. Best example of this ceremony is the Holy Mass, the Eucharistic Mass, example for the Catholic, solemnizing marriage. Kung makikita natin, different religion, iba-iba tayo ng practice about marriage, priest ordination, and then tedium. That's under ceremony. Another techniques of religion is sacrifice. So when we say sacrifice, it is expressing reverence to God or any perceived spirits. It is the earliest known form of worship and in all parts of the world. Best example of this sacrifice is abstinence and fasting. We do this during Holy Week for the Catholic, okay? During the Lenten season, na kung saan minsan tayo ay one meal lang in a day, example, or we avoid to eat meat, okay? That's we call the abstinence and fasting. For our Muslim friends, so they have Ramadan, na kung saan meron silang one full meal and then the rest of the day hindi sila kakain. That's part of their sacrifice. We also have reverence, which is the deep respect or is a name given to holy figure in a religious institution. So when we say reverence, it is more about respect or deep respect to a holy figure, okay? Or dun sa namumuno sa ating religious sector. Duty, this is something that is required by one's religion, job, position, or the laws. Example of this is the Ten Commandments. We are pleased the Almighty by reverent act na kung saan kailangan nating sundin. Example, itong mga utos, okay, na nakasaad sa relihiyon kung saan tayo kabilang. So, Ten Commandments, example for the Catholics, and then we have the 5 pillars of Islam for our Muslim. Another techniques of religion is rituals, which is a religious or solemn ceremony consisting of series of actions performed according to prescribed order. Example of this is for the Catholic is praying, making the sign of the cross, processions, way of the cross during the Lenten season, which is it is part of the sanctification, which is the act of purification, supplication, or di kaya thanksgiving. For the Buddhists, they have rituals like meditation. They have mantras or words na kung saan paulit-ulit nila yung or nasa mind nila itong mga words na ito to keep them motivated or inspired. They have prayer wheels and they do have pilgrimage which according to their rituals and religion. And then we have sacred objects. Example of this is the Holy Bible, Rosary, prayer books, and crucifix for the Catholic, which is itong objects na ito ay ginagamit nila sa kanilang rituals. And then last, we have taboo, which is an activity that is forbidden. It refers to the thou shall not behavior. Ito yung mga religious beliefs or morals na pinagbabawal kung saan tayong religious sector kabilang. Example of this is abortion, which is illegal ito or ipinagbabawal talaga ito. Adultery, matricide, which is killing one's mother, cannibalism, or a human being eating the flesh of another human being. So ito yung mga taboo or ito yung mga forbidden or yung mga thou shall not behavior na hindi appropriate or hindi sabihin natin ah, acceptable sa religious sector kung saan tayo pamilya. So that's the different techniques of religion. So after we discuss the definition of spiritual self, the functions of religion, and the techniques of religion, so now let's proceed to logotherapy, which is the finding and creating meaning. So logotherapy, this is based on the premise that the human person is motivated by a will to meaning, which is an inner pull to find meaning in life. Logotherapy is a psychotherapy introduced by Dr. Frankel or Viktor Frankl, who is considered as the father of logotherapy. So Viktor Frankl was born in March 26, 1905 in Vienna, Austria, where famous psychiatrists Sigmund Freud and Adler lived. At a young age, he wrote a short paper to Freud, which was published after 3 years. Dr. Frankl graduated with a medical degree from the University of Vienna in 1930. He assigned in Vienna Hospital suicide ward and headed the Rothschild Hospital 8 years later. So Dr. Frankl, he is a survivor of the Holocaust. He published a book about logotherapy, and in 1959, the book was translated to English and was revised in 1963 as The Doctor and the Soul, an introduction to logotherapy. So when we say logotherapy, it is a psychotherapy, okay, introduced by Dr. Frankl, who is considered as the father of logotherapy. Ang main belief ng logotherapy is that man's primary motivational force is search for meaning. It aids individual to find personal meaning of life, whatever life situation they may be. Ang core message ng logotherapy ay kailangan natin mahanap o ma-discover yung ating personal meaning in life. Kahit gaano kamiserable, okay, or kaganda ng ating buhay na pinagdadaanan, meron pa rin or madidiscover pa rin natin kung ano yung ating purpose or kung ano yung meaning ng buhay natin dito sa mundo. In logotherapy, meaning can be discovered by creating work or doing deed. Okay? Experience something or encountering someone, and the attitude toward unavoidable suffering. So in 1946, dito kilala si Dr. Viktor Frankl dito sa kanyang book na Man's Search for Meaning. Outlining experiences in concentration camps as well as the basic tenets of the logotherapy. So there are three main components that are at the heart of the Franklian philosophy. So ano itong three components na sinasabi ni Dr. Frankl? Number one is each person has a healthy core, meaning we have human spirit, or ito yung tinatawag niya na nous, meaning this spirit is what we are, and this is our essence. And this spirit is our healthy core. Followed by, the primary focus is to enlighten a person to their own internal resources and provide them with the tools to use their inner core. We need to make, ibig sabihin nito, we need to make use of our potentials. We also need to share all the goodness that we have with others. That's we call the second component. And the third one is the life offers you purpose and meaning. It does not owe you a sense of fulfillment or happiness. Ibig sabihin dito sa third assumption at sa third component ni Dr. Frankel, life offers purpose and meaning. Pero hindi lahat maganda. We need to accept that. And life, as it is, negative things happen for a reason. And the goal is to understand and accept this reason instead of avoiding it. So ito yung tatlong components ng Franklian philosophy. So logotherapy is based on the premise that humans are driven to find a sense of meaning and purpose in life. So kung mapapansin ninyo, laging binabanggit sa logotherapy yung word na meaning or sense of meaning and purpose. And then according to Dr. Frankel, life meanings can be discovered in the three ways. Number one is by creating a work or accomplishing some task. So ang ibig sabihin dito ni Dr. Frankel, we need to create a work according to our deed or doing a deed or the way of external achievement or accomplishment. Number two is by experience something fully or loving somebody. Ibig sabihin dito, experience something or encountering someone, which is when we encounter something, minsan it is about goodness, okay? It is about truth, or about the beauty of nature and culture. We encounter someone, which is the innermost core, and then their uniqueness through love. And then last is by the attitude that one adapts toward unavoidable suffering. Ibig sabihin dito sa uh, third premise ni Dr. Frankel, we need to turn our suffering into human achievement and accomplishment. Okay? So halip na i-avoid natin itong mga negative na ito, okay? Or the negative situation that happened in our life. So we need to accept that, okay? And that's part of our life. And then through that, okay? Through the negative situation that happened in our life, nakikita din natin yung ating meaning and yung purpose natin sa buhay natin. So we have 6 basic assumptions of logotherapy. So logotherapy consists of 6 basic assumptions that overlap with the fundamental construct and ways of being of seeking meaning listed above. So number 1 is the body, mind, and spirit. Ibig sabihin dito sa first assumption, the human being is an entity consisting of body, mind, and spirit. This first assumption deals with the body, also called as the soma, mind as the psyche, and then spirit is the nous. Katulad ng na-mention ko kanina, the spirit or the nous is considered as our healthy core. According to Frankel, the body and mind are what we have, and the spirit is what we are. The body and the mind is what a person has, ito yung meron tayo. And the spirit is what a person is, ito tayo. That's the first assumption. Followed by, life has meaning in all circumstances. This assumption is more about the ultimate meaning. And this is difficult to comprehend or to grasp, but is something everyone experiences, and it represents an order in a world with laws that go beyond the human laws. It is more about the ultimate meaning in our life. The third assumption is humans have a will to meaning, or people have a will to meaning. The third assumption is seen as our main motivation for living and acting. When we see meaning, we are ready for any type of suffering. Okay? And this is considered to be different than our will to achieve power and pleasure. The fourth assumption is the freedom to find meaning, or people have freedom under all circumstances to activate the will to find meaning. This fourth assumption is about or deals with the change of attitude about unavoidable fate. Dr. Frankl was able to test first four assumptions when we has confined in the concentration camps. Ibig sabihin dito sa fourth assumption, people are free to their will, to meaning, and this can be done under any situations. The fifth assumption is the meaning of the moment, which is life has a demand quality to which people must respond if decisions are to be meaningful. The fifth assumption, the meaning of the moment, is more practical in a daily living than ultimate meaning. Unlike the ultimate meaning, this meaning can be found and fulfilled. And this can be done by following the values of the society or by following the voice of our conscience. And the last assumption is the individual is unique. This assumption deals with the sense of meaning. This is enhanced by the realization that we are irreplaceable. All people are unique with an entity of body, mind, and spirit, and all go through unique situations and are constantly looking to find meaning. So these are the six basic assumptions of the logotherapy. Body, mind, and spirit. Life has meaning under all circumstances, even the most miserable. People have the will to meaning. People have freedom under all circumstances to activate the will to find meaning. Life has a demand quality to which people must respond if decisions are to be meaningful. And then last is the individual is unique. So logotherapy has been found effective in the treatment of substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, depression, and anxiety. So logotherapy has been used as a therapeutic intervention for individuals who struggle with a host of medical, behavioral, health, and social problems. So for example, logotherapy has been described as powerful for individuals living with schizophrenia, mood disorders, anxiety disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, alcohol disorders and personality disorders, as well as cardiac illness, prolonged grief, and chronic pain. So one reason that logotherapy may have positive effects on such a broad array of problems may be related to its impact on the stress response and on one's ability to tolerate adversity, to build resilience, to grow from stressful and traumatic experiences. And the true chronic stress that is poorly regulated is known as exacerbate as a host of medical and psychological condition and disorder. So logotherapy, this is, uh, according to research, has been used as therapeutic intervention in different mental disorder. Effective ito, okay, sa mga illnesses like substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, depression, and anxiety because it can tolerate adversity at nakakapag-build siya ng resilience sa mga tao na nagsasuffer sa ganitong condition. So this logotherapy, it is used by psychologists, psychotherapists, and other mental health professionals. So before I end my presentation, I would like to end this lesson with a quotation. The only journey is within your spiritual self. Okay? So every true spiritual journey is a quest, which means that we set out to discover something, not just anything, but about who we truly are and what is life is about. Those are big, uncomfortable questions when we have in our spiritual journey. So embarking on our spiritual journey is like getting in a very small boat and setting on the ocean to search for unknown lands. So if you have any questions, clarifications regarding in our lessons, feel free to comment or to message me. Okay? So with that, thank you so much for listening and have a good day.